features the usual snake bites, plus on the other side of his head, a couple of ducks. And he told me that the duck is a reference to Adrian Lewis's habit of calling everybody Maduk. And there was another little point he was trying to make about turning him into crispy fried duck in a pancake. Let's get this match underway then. Peter Wright against Adrian Lewis in the company of Stuart and Rod.
Yeah, so the winner to play Michael van Gerwen in the first semi-final of the first ever Japan Darts Masters. Adrian Lewis, rare talent, still only 30, 2 world titles to his name, plus 3 other major ranking events. Lewis doesn't have the best of records in the World Series. Peter Wright has reached a final in Dubai, lost to Michael van Gerwen a couple of years ago. But you know, every time you see Peter Wright on the stage and the walk-on and the darts that he plays, and just the perfect example of how you can turn your career around.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg is Adrian to throw
in the space of 3 years, Peter Wright has gone from absolutely nowhere to become a darting superstar, playing in World Series events all
58
over the globe, Premier League, appeared in major finals, yet to win one. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, you're right. He is playing very consistent. He's changing his darts probably as much as he's changed his hair. But as you said, Adrian Lewis,
46.
One of the rare talents in the game. When he's on song, he is a joy to watch. But he needs to get a little bit more consistent than he did last night. Peter Wright played a real good, steady game in the qualifiers. Best one out of all the professionals. But I've got to tell you something, Stu. Peter Wright is wearing ducks tonight, and the reason for that is that Adrian Lewis calls everybody duck. So he said, right, I'm going to wear the ducks for Adrian Lewis tonight. So, is that a mind games?
Well, sometimes I don't think anybody knows what Peter Wright is thinking. He does have a sense of humour, that's for sure. And he started this match really well. Looking to break early on.
139.
Well, important. A couple of treble 20s there, because Peter Wright has been ahead for most of this opening leg. Well, treble would be perfect to leave tops.
60.
Well, it'll be disappointing, you have to say.
Well, he will be disappointed with that because he's given AD Lewis a chance to take this out now. Now the bullseye, oh, and he's dropped the dart. Now you've got to step back, that's it. Take a big deep breath. That's exactly what AD's done. And now the bullseye.
83.
Completely knocked out of his rhythm. Completely knocked out of his rhythm by dropping the dart. So that's for an early break.
Well, I don't know if that was at double top, but this third one's certainly going to be at double top.
60.
I don't know whether he went 2 double tops with the first 2 darts.
Yep. Oh, he's missed the 9. He's missed the 9. So 3 double 12, baby. Yep, double 12. Well, he's made a complete mess of this leg. Adrian Lewis has had 18 darts, and, well, is he going to be punished? Double 10 for Peter Wright.
Games on the
first leg against the throw. To be honest, it wasn't great for either player, but it could be very important for Peter Wright. Adrian Lewis has won the last 5 meetings between the two.
140.
Now, you mentioned that Peter Wright, 102 average against Muramatsu in the opening round here in Japan.
60.
Adrian Lewis just not at the races so far. Can't get anything going on the scoring. He had a chance to pinch the opening leg.
100.
Made a mess of it.
But we do see AD do this quite often, but then all of a sudden he starts firing and he comes back with the maximums, and that's exactly what he's done. That should get the motor running, although it's only just levelled him up, so advantage still to Wright. And we see Bunting in the first game against Michael van Gerwen hit 180s back-to-back. And we see Lewis.
Yeah, Stephen Bunting hit 7 182s and lost.
140.
To an inspired Van Gerwen in our first quarter final. Here, treble 11. The ball will do.
96.
It wasn't far away.
Well, Lewis had a dart at bullseye from the 1-2-4, and again, that's a wild dart and a drop dart as well. That's 2 darts he's dropped.
Well, single 20 to, well,
101.
He was basically trying to avoid hitting the treble. He left double 10 instead of tops, but will it all be academic?
Game shot
2-0, despite the 180 from Adrian Lewis. I have to say, the 180 from Lewis is a rare good moment in what's been the best of starts to this match.
Well, that's what he's got to do, Stu. He's got to get a bit of aggression into himself. You know, just going for the motions is not going to work tonight. He's got to get that bit of aggression and get a hate on. And when he does, that's when he's at his best. He's also, with that aggression, keep the rhythm. That's it, keep that rhythm there. Ooh. Don't speed up, don't slow down. Absolutely brilliant. The pace of those 6 darts is what Adrian Lewis at his best is all about.
Yep. From absolutely nowhere, after a really poor start to this match,
57.
Lewis is on a 9-darter here in Japan.
Come on, AD. Oh!
109.
Disappointment. Even Peter Wright, I think, would have been glad to see Adrian do it. 7 perfect darts. We're inching closer, aren't we? I wonder if we'll see a moment of history. But back comes Peter Wright.
140.
So double 16 after a terrible start. Lewis back in this game. 11-darter, double 8. Double 4.
24.
Well, he can't work out why he's so far away from the doubles. I know it doesn't look that far away to you viewers at home and you casual dart players, but I can assure you, AD Lewis, with his ability, anything more than a quarter of an inch is a mile away.
Game shot the first leg. Adrian Lewis.
Oh, this quarter-final for Adrian Lewis.
Peter to throw first. Game on.
Much needed. First to 8 to take on Michael Van Gerwen. Just to remind you, the format all through
60.
Finals night here in Yokohama is the same. Best of 15, first to 8, in the quarterfinals, the semi-final, and the final.
140.
Yeah, Lewis banging this match now, all right. After the slow start.
100.
Well, there we have the averages.
85.
Just over the 100. And Peter Wright, well, he's 2-1 up, only just over 92. And he would expect to move that up as we move through this game.
140.
So up to the 100, and the reason that AD's average is up there is those 3 180s. 0 for Peter Wright.
100.
What do you think as regards playing 3 big games in a night? Where's the advantage? Playing early? Or the latter stage of the quarterfinals and then
80.
just keep going? Which?
I don't think there's any written format, to be quite honest. If you play first and you have a rest and you go and win your semi-final and you say, yeah, the rest give me the advantage. And then you said you played last and you still got the adrenaline in you and you go up and win your semi-final, you know, within an hour. So I don't think there's any format. It's just keeping focus, keeping the adrenaline going in the right position and in the right way.
85.
Chance here
76.
to break back. How many darts is he going to get at a double? Well, that's a poor first one. Treble 13 to leave double 16. Great recovery. Brilliant recovery. Well, that's what he's capable of after hitting a single 5 with the first dart.
Game on.
Fabulous from Lewis. 4 all.
Well, the thing about AD, and he's like Gary Anderson and all these the real raw talents, but they do go off the boil. I mean, I know Michael didn't against Stephen Bunting, but you know, a couple of legs, raw some, but when they come back, they throw these like 3, 4, 5 legs at level 13, 14, and they are hard to hold them. So when they are a little bit indifferent, that's when you've got to punish them. Otherwise, you are going to be up against the wall. And the Forest squad ready to
58.
pull the trigger, to be quite honest.
A chance here for Peter Wright. He's seen Adrian Lewis break back and level this quarter-final.
100.
140 and a ton from Snakebite. Hugely popular. There were so many Mohicans in the crowd on the opening night.
80.
You may have heard Ned mention that he was signing autographs for a good hour after the close of business here in Yokohama on Saturday.
140.
Putting pressure on Adrian Lewis here.
Yeah, Adrian needs to find the 134 now. Oh, that's
77.
2 darts of the last 6, and that one's
PDC
caught the flight and then caught the
121.
wire. So he's going to have 6 darts from here to break the throwback.
Crucially, that means that Lewis doesn't have a finish. Bullseye. Brilliant, right in the middle. The right decision to go for it without a shadow of a doubt. With Lewis back on 187. Wright breaks. 3-2 up in this quarter-final.
Lewis, 3 180s at the moment. Needs to find one of those against the throw of Peter Wright.
96.
It's just one treble a throw. He's not going to perhaps do a lot against Wright. I'd have to say his hair is rather bland tonight.
140.
Well, I know you're the expert on such things.
I just keep the same colour now. I painted it a long time ago. But you have to say, Peter Wright has made himself into a character, playing behind the mask, I suppose they call it, in acting. But it just shows you what it can do. Yeah. I mean, he's got a good part of this crowd on his side, and he's recognised all over the world now.
Very quiet, unassuming.
100.
Off the stage, he has the on-stage persona. They used to call you the Prince of Style, didn't they?
We've forgotten about that a long time ago.
161.
I'm sure where they got that from. You weren't exactly a dedicated follower of fashion, were you?
No. I like the song, though.
45.
The Kinks. You and I old enough to remember, Rod. Peter Wright, 116 to go 4-2 in front. First 2 legs to Wright, next 2 legs to Lewis. Bit of tungsten symmetry, I wonder, here in Yokohama. Tops he needs.
76.
Well, 80's too far away to do any damage to the right throw.
57.
Another visit without a double.
40.
Well, Peter Wright's going to get 6 darts from here. He may only need the 1. Well, that looks good to just do it with the second dart. And exactly what he's done. He's come in off the flight.
7-legged Adrian to throw first.
He takes, again, a 2-leg lead. Went 2-0 up against Lewis, and then Lewis fired in 2 brilliant legs to get himself back in it, Stu. And then he's kind of gone off the boil again, hasn't he?
First to 8 to take on Van Gerwen. Head-to-head, 11-5.
Do you know what? It's frustrating for me when I watch Adrian Lewis because
140.
You know, the talent. I remember watching him from a real young man, you know, when he was playing darts, first coming to the PDC. He's got that exceptional talent, and it's frustrating to see him go off the boil at certain times when you think he should be really now pounding the treble 20.
Well, 14, 15 years ago, as Peter Wright here looks to hit his first maximum. And there it is, perfect timing. It comes against the throw. Lewis looking to respond. I went to Phil Taylor's house 15 years ago to do a preview ahead of one of the big tournaments he was playing in. And he said, come and have a look at this young man. Let me introduce you. His name's Adrian Lewis. He's going to win the World Championship.
60.
He was 15, 16 years old at that stage, Adrian Lewis. huge natural ability. Of course, Taylor was right.
140.
Lewis has just gone on from strength to strength. Brilliant 140 though, as he looks to hold on to his throw. Peter Wright had already taken this out on the bull. Is he going to do it again?
And this ball certainly hurt.
Oh!
Game shot on the
1-2
seventh
on the
leg.
floor for the second time in this quarter-final.
Peter to throw first.
He hit the 180 to put the pressure on.
Game on.
And he inflicts tungsten pain and punishment on Adrian Lewis with that second 121 finish. Double breaker throw.
And now it's Wright that heads the averages. Is on just over 100, where 80's come down to 94. And he's going to have to start finding these trebles, and he needs to find them now.
120.
And that's another dart.
And one out.
Yes, another dart on the floor.
Remember, famously, Gary Anderson at the World Championship in the final against Phil Taylor.
100.
He had two.
Right, there we have it.
Not one out, and that's what happened with Anderson at the Ali Pali. He had two in, put the third one in, and it knocked all three out.
140.
And he still went on to win that set, crucially at the World Championship.
The thing about it is, a lot of the times when the dart comes
140.
in, it's clattering into the flight and the stem and the top of the barrel, which takes all the momentum off the dart. So as it comes into the board, it's not got enough speed
Peter with
to
161.
stay in. So now Peter Wright's taken out 1-2-1s. Oh, now treble 18 will leave that bullseye this time. Stays on them treble 18s. Well, if Eddie's going to make a rush on a surge, it's got to be now. The 120, the pros like this. Now, you can see that facial expression is because the dart kicked up. So he comes to the left, plenty of room to the left. And that's what he does.
Ninth leg is Adrian to throw first.
Sat on double 16.
Game on.
To go 6-2 up. Lewis takes out 120. It's been a great game. Going one way, then the other. But it was needs must, wasn't it? Had to get it and did. Quality darts from Adrian Lewis. World number 4 against the world number 5 here in Peter Wright.
Well, he got 2-0 down to 80 and then threw 2 blistering legs. And he needs to find 2 blistering legs right now.
54.
A visit without the treble's not going to help. Although he's got a 3-dart advantage. And there we have it. Lewis leading those 180s, but the 140 count from Peter Wright.
85.
And that's why he's 5-3 up.
Surely got to be a 140. And he'll be disappointed with that. You can see it on his face. The first dart from Lewis was perfectly set up for another couple to follow, but not on that occasion.
140.
Well, it's another 140 for Peter Wright. 1 is not enough, but 2 is.
140.
A chance for A.D. Lewis to get back to within 1 leg of Peter Wright. And now
140.
it's a must shot for
67.
jackpot.
Yep.
Treble 17. 10 for the double top. He hit it on the 120.
27.
Well, he couldn't afford to miss.
36.
But the 140 under pressure from Peter Wright, his 12th of this match, was a beauty to leave him on that target. And that dart is a crucial one. It's 6-3 to Peter Wright.
Game on.
Is he going to snap a 5-match losing run against Adrian Lewis? 2 legs away.
83. 96.
6-3, Peter Wright still to come. Taylor and Van Barneveld. The 70th clash between those two great darting giants tonight here in Japan.
Well over 100 years between them as well.
Yeah.
96.
Phil Taylor, 55 in August. Still going strong.
60.
Well, now's the chance for Adrian Lewis. He's got to make a run. One leg's not enough, so needs to fill that up, and that looks absolutely perfect for a 171. And that's what he had to do. He had to punish Peter Wright.
Really good game. It's it's punch and counter punch, isn't it? Really entertaining stuff. 183.
Well, he's got to come down for the 19s.
94.
Well, perhaps 6 starts from 138.
That's unlucky because that deflected off the barrel.
Yeah, it did. And it is a sensible shot because he's already got the line and the length on the treble 20.
164.
And you've always got to go for percentage shots when your opponent is on a shot. There we go, 2 treble 19s. Well, that's not going to happen. So Lewis comes back for another breaker throw.
104.
And it will be the 7th breaker throw.
Tops for Lewis to stay in this quarter-final. Double 10. Chance gone.
48.
2 big chances gone.
PDC requires
Has to get it back to 6-4. And you can see the frustration for Adrian Lewis. This will be a big, big blow. It's all right for Peter Wright. 7-3 in front, 1 away from the semi-finals.
It's been another steady match from Peter, a bit like last night. He's on 102 average. He did that last night. And he's got to that time in his profession
58.
where he's being very tough to beat. You know, you're not going to beat him by playing mediocre. He really is.
108.
Well, crucial 180 as well. There are 5 legs to go. He's got to win the lot, Adrian.
96.
Missed doubles at key times. Peter Wright has scored better and he's finished better. 7 out of 12 on the doubles. Adrian's missed too many when it's mattered.
84.
He's not that far away from the top of his game. Because if he just steps it up a little bit, then that confidence that he'll get from that will mean that he'll move even further up the ladder. But needs to get a bit more consistent.
97.
Yep, to leave tops. Those 2 missed darts to get it back to 6-4, and he would have been throwing here to make it 6-5. As it is, it should be 7-4.
140.
But it could be so much better for Adrian Lewis.
Game
Stays in the quarter-final. 1 down, 4 to go. Right, 7-4 up, still needing 1 more leg.
Yes, Adie's got to win all the last 4. 2 of those are going to be against the throat. And if Peter Wright kicks off with big scores, it's going to be tough. And that's his second maximum of the night. And what a time. And what Wright will be looking to do is fire in a 12-dart leg and take Lewis right out of the equation to stay in this match.
Well, he's been consistently good, Peter Wright. 102 in the first round. 104 now the average as he chases the $50,000 9-dart bonus.
Well, for the 3rd time tonight, we've had a player hit 2 maximums at the start of a match.
He's
already hit a 9-darter on the tour this year. Yeah, Van Gogh hit 6 perfect darts. Adrian Lewis hit 7 earlier on in this match.
Well, he's got to be careful here, Stu, because if AD comes in with a ton or a ton 40, and then Peter Wright may only get a dart at the bullseye. And that's exactly what Lewis has done. That's pressure for you. Now, Peter Wright would love to see his first dart go in the treble 18. Well, he's hit the bullseye twice already in the match. 2 1-2-1s. Can it be a bull this time?
Game shot.
Brilliant way to win. Peter Wright, with an average of 103, progresses through to the semi-finals to take on Michael van Gerwen. Great performance from Snakebite. Adrian Lewis just under par, and Peter Wright goes through. Terrific match.